think of the investigation world in Portugal?
Well, when we compare research in Portugal in the different fields, not only in economics and in the social sciences, but in the development that has been reached in the last 10 years, I would say, is amazing. I mean, there was a huge increase of the number of publications, number of citations, the number of articles and papers published in journals with a great impact factor. And so we would say that, however, even if the quality is good, in quantitative terms, we are still far below the levels that have been reached by other countries. But it is my impression that we have done the right steps in order to allow us to reach the levels that we are able to reach. We need lobbying, we need capacity and skills to draw and to design the research projects that are going to be announced in the calls that will be announced in the years to come. And here I believe that this does not only depend on the capacities of the researchers, but this also depends on the capacity of the institutions of the country, and we have to be much more active in networking and in participating in these processes. This is precisely what I'm trying to do here at the Institute, trying to create conditions for international competition in terms that are not in which we are not excluded for not being prepared to play the game, and we need to be prepared to play the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have been on the other side of research, being involved in the creation of the Portuguese Economic Journal.
Yes.
How was the process of creating a journal in a country at that time which had very little research in economics? Was it very difficult? What kind of problems did you have?
Yes, I couldn't put it as being easy or difficult, but I suppose it was a necessary step, even if it was difficult at the moment. It is important to understand that the Portuguese Economic Journal was born at the Department of Economics of ISEG. I was the head of the department at the time, and it was a difficult decision to convince my colleagues at the department that we should get rid of a journal that existed, Estudos de Economia, was published in Portuguese, and should move to a different project. We need to be, in a certain sense, courage to challenge the usual routines of the university departments. But I believe that at ISEG, especially with my colleague Paulo Brito, who was the editor-in-chief at the time, and I would say that, so this was not a decision taken by the head of the department. It was a decision that was prepared by a group of colleagues who strongly believed that to do research is to do research reviewed with a process of peer reviewed, and that there should not be a sense of property, of intellectual property of the journal, and it should be open.
And do you have, not related to economics, do you have any book or a record or a band that has particularly influenced you in your life?
Well, maybe I would put two books belonging to different economists in two different moments, and who are a reference in my view for the development of economics and the political economy as it is today. I would say Adam Smith and John Maynard Keynes. So we cannot think of economics as a discipline without thinking on Adam Smith. And in the 20th century, even if there are many other authors who I strongly consider, I believe that the macroeconomic revolution brought by Keynes is still one of the leading moments and landmarks of the development of our discipline.
Do you have any particular researcher that has inspired you, or any particular ancient economist, current economist that you find particularly interesting?
These questions of choice are always difficult, and but there is an economist who was a Nobel winner, who I highly consider for both his rigor in analytical terms and also his concern with doctrinal and historical issues related to economics. Amartya Sen, I would say, when I say this, he has not inspired me in terms of topics of research, because I do not follow any kind of lines of research that Sen has followed, but it's the kind of author who belongs to a mainstream tradition, but at the same time has a critical view on this mainstream tradition.
And final question, if you had to give an advice to a young researcher, a student, what would you say to them?
Well, this is something that maybe it's what I do in my daily life, in my daily activity with students, in this case in the PhD program in history, which is believe that your project is something new and innovative, and the condition for your project to be new and innovative is that you are confident that you can achieve your goal and you can go in that direction. But to do it, you have to work seriously on the conditions that will allow you to reach your goal, your purpose. And this means hard work. This means, in the case of a researcher in history, being it history of economics or social history or political history, means honesty in searching and minor dating, and in this case also collecting data that is relevant for the purpose of this study, and to pay justice to those who have studied the topic before. So when we are talking about the revision of the literature, is that we are paying justice to the authors that have already followed the same paths in which we are now moving, and at the same time to try to explain the rationale and the reason for doing something that is different from what others have done. So is confidence in the capacity of doing something different, and at the same time